All right. What's going on? Welcome to the Trooper Transmission. We have Soars Beadman, also known as Ross Beadman in real life. Thank you so much for taking the time to come on, brother.
Not a problem. Happy to be here.
And so you are in Bournemouth. I'm in Seattle, but we are connecting over a really good cause. And so I'd love for you to just tell the fans, your supporters, and anyone watching this what it is that you're getting up to.
So yeah, next week on March the 25th, I'm going to be fighting in a charity boxing match for Cancer Research UK, which is a UK based charity created to help detect cancer earlier and eventually, hopefully, cure it. And yeah, that's why I'm here today speaking to you. I'm here to raise the profile of my fight and try and get more funds donated. And every little helps. The more funds we raise, the more likely that is to happen. I
Yeah,
believe.
definitely. And we're going to pull that up on the screen here. Oh, let's keep you in there as well. You've already hit 230% of your goal, 239%. So
Oh,
anyone,
we smashed that target
yeah,
already.
smash
Well,
the target.
yeah,
So anyone watching this, the link is down in the description if you would like to donate to this cause. This is a kind of a personal one to you too. Like obviously you enjoy boxing and combat sports, but I know just from kind of the background research that I did, like this, hits home for you. And so definitely want to support you in that and do anything we can.
yeah. I lost both grandparents to bowel cancer at a very young age, and within a 4 year time span. That's quite tough to deal with. And the fact that they both died of the same thing kind of illuminated how powerful and how common this disease is. And everyone has a story of a family member who's been affected by cancer. And even when I posted that I was fighting in this charity boxing match on Star Wars meme groups, a lot of people reached out to me who had cancer themselves, and it's just something which is far too common. And
Yeah.
hopefully, it's going to be less common in the future through initiatives like this.
Yeah, absolutely. So what got you into boxing? How long have you been in the sport? Is this something that is like, a couple years, or has this been something that you've been doing since you were a youngling?
Oh, it's more of a couple years. It was something to do with my spare time. I was always interested in fitness. So, beginning of my fitness journey, I started with more bodybuilding and calisthenics, body weight exercises, but that got quite monotonous for me. What I loved about boxing initially was that it combines a lot of athletic elements to it. So you have endurance side of it, its power, its explosiveness, its strength, its speed, and it's the strategy of trying to win against an opponent who's trying to beat you up and trying to knock you out. There's so many moving parts, and it's something which is very hard to master. And that's what I like about it so much. It's something you can progress on throughout your whole life, and that's what I intend to do. And it's given me so much. It's made me very physically fit, and yeah, it's made me look better. It's made me feel better, and I think it's character building as well. You face your fears when you enter any kind of boxing ring, even if it's sparring. It teaches you how to deal with it in that aspect.
Yeah. Are you familiar with the framework of the hero's journey?
Yeah, Young, right? Carl Young.
Um,
I think.
it's another guy. I'm spacing on the name, but
Yeah.
essentially the thing that boxing always reminds me of is it's an actual arena, right? You step into the arena, and very much like Luke going to the cave in Dagobah, every time you step in there, you have to fight something about yourself, right? I'm sure you obviously you're fighting the opponent, but you're fighting a number of different things, both mentally and physically about yourself. You have to gauge your stamina. You have to fight any limiting beliefs. And I love that as like an actual metaphor of every time you step into that thing that scares you, you come out learning something about yourself. And I've never boxed, so maybe you could speak to that a little bit more.
Yeah, it certainly helps decrease the anxiety when it comes to similar situations like that in the future. The more experience you get in that confrontational scenario, the threshold for your anxiety decreases. And so bit by bit you can chip away a bit of that fear, but I don't think it ever really goes. And it has pushed me to my limits when it comes to my stamina and how much output I think I'm capable of. And yeah, sometimes it has those painful moments where you don't think you can push and you can go past that wall a little bit. and those moments are amazing. You feel like you're in heaven afterwards once you've gone past that for a little amount of time.
Yeah. It's
Um,
like, what am I getting myself into? And then you get out and you're like, man, I'm so glad that I did that. That was worth it.
mm.
So, question for you: how did you, just to switch gears a little bit? How did you initially get into the role that you got into as Soar's Beadman, or is it Bandeam? Did they just flip
Bandeam, yeah, yeah.
Bandeam?
I
Okay,
think my Reddit name, I've got it as like Ross Bandeam, just mixing the names together. And plus, Saws Bandeam, my character name, is an anagram of my actual name, so I'm not surprised if people get it mixed up. It's so similar.
right. So
But
then I picked that up that they're very similar. Did you have a decision in that, or are the writers like, hey, what's your name? Let's just flip it around, like boggle, scramble it
it
up a little bit.
was sent to me via an email from
Okay,
the production company, so I assume they just came up with it on the fly. I can't recall any of the other fellow younglings' names. I'm not sure if they were anagrams or not. I don't know.
right. And you were 6 at the time, or how old were you?
6 years old,
Okay,
correct? Yeah, and like you asked, the reason why I got it is because my mum used to work with someone who then went on to start her own casting agency, the same agency which did all the child casting for the Golden Compass films, which came out at quite a similar time. And then what they hadn't really spoken for a few years, and one day my mum gets an email asking her if her son would like to be in Star Wars, and my mum relays that question onto me, and I was quite a big Star Wars fan myself. So like, what was I supposed to say to that? Of
right.
course, of course. And then on the actual day when they got us prepared, we were sent a line out the line, Master Skywalker. There are too many of them. What are we going to do? A week before, and my parents encouraged me to practice the line every day. They go up to me, they ask me, "What's the line?" Multiple times per day, and that really did kind of center it in my mind, and that it kept my focus on the line coming into being on set. And when we got to the set, the casting director asked us all, "Who knows the line?" And I was the first person to put my hand up.
Yeah,
They're all speaking amongst themselves. I wasn't that popular. I was reading books all the time. So I answered, and I got the role just like that. First come, first serve. Yeah.
yeah. Proper preparation. It obviously carried
Yeah.
over
And
into
here we are. Here we
everything
are.
you're doing now. That's cool. I love that story because it's a microcosm of just being ready and being prepared, which is something that you can translate into anything in life. So
True.
you get the role. I'm sure you were the coolest kid on the block. What was that journey like going from, I guess that would have been elementary school, at least that's what we call in the States, middle school, high
Yeah.
school. Has that been something that has been kind of like this double-edged sword that you're carrying with you, or has it been mostly good? I'm just curious your experience.
It's been mostly good. I think it's given my life a little boost. I don't think it massively helped with my popularity, but it definitely, yeah. It's what metaphor could I give? It's like having I don't know, like a shitty sports car or something like that. A nice thing about yourself. Initially, it could be quite annoying sometimes when people would ask you to repeat the line day after day, but
Right.
that doesn't really happen anymore, and that went away after I think for you guys in the US it would be middle school, and now I'm going to conventions, doing like minor guest appearances, and it's been a way for me to use my profile right now to raise quite a bit of money for a good cause. So I
Yeah.
think all things considered, it's been pretty amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, I can
Yeah.
imagine. So,
Annoyance and then so many blessings on one hand. I definitely take the blessings any day. Yeah,
yeah, you'd be hard pressed to find anything in life that doesn't have, both sides, positive
of
and
course.
negative, right? Absolutely. So, we'll just go through kind of like a quick hitter list. Favorite Jedi.
I've got to say Mace Windu.
Okay.
I like people who are a bit different. And when I saw the purple lightsaber, the way he carried himself, I instantly liked him a lot. So yeah,
Did you get to see him behind the scenes?
unfortunately not.
Okay. He'd already
When
he'd already lost his hand by then, by the time
Yeah,
you told me.
that broke my heart when I saw it at the premiere for the first time. That did
Yeah,
break my heart, man. Um,
absolutely. All right. Uh, obviously there were too many of them, but if you had to say your favorite trooper, who would you say that there is?
Favorite clone trooper. Um, Goodness. Trying to think. You know what? I can't even remember them that much.
How
Sort
about
of
this?
like
Let's open it up. Favorite
Rome
just
was
all
last
time.
year, man. Favorite what of all time?
Just any Star Wars character. We'll open it up.
Favorite Star Wars character? Yoda. Yoda.
What's the best
Um,
Yoda line, the one that speaks to you the most?
I like the one where it goes, "Do or do not. There is no try."
Yes.
And I I found that with meditating a bit that helps because a lot of times when I try and meditate and try and reach a certain state, the actual fact you're trying to do it uh, completely goes against how you're actually supposed to meditate. And when I let go of that, it made it so much easier for me. Yeah.
Yeah. Expand upon that. When you let go, is it of the expectation or uh the fact that you like fail or succeed in
I,
meditation? What's
I
some
let go of
expand
the
on that?
wanting to reach that meditative state
Mm,
in that moment. I let go of that striving. And as soon as I just became aware and focused on being aware of my breathing, and that was it, rather than adding in all this extra kind of thought processes behind it of wanting to get to a certain place. That's when you actually start to see the benefits.
hmm Was that something you got into for combat sports and boxing in particular, or is that something you picked up
It was
earlier?
that was more for mental health reasons, and I picked that up. I picked that up a bit earlier. Yeah, yeah. It's something which helped kept me grounded during my day to day life and reduce my anxiety. I used to be very anxious, and now I don't nearly have that. I have barely any anxiety compared to where I was before.
Mm.
You know, I think that could be caused by a lot of other lifestyle factors as well, but meditation is certainly a key piece of that puzzle. Um, about
That I'll also say that resonates a lot with me.
I'm gonna expand on that point. 4 years ago, I went on a Vipassana retreat, 10 days of silent
Silent.
meditation,
Yeah.
and it was amazing. The way after that experience, you gain such an awareness of your internal thought processes and emotions, and even inner bodily sensations. It's like you gain this extra third person perspective to your life, and that was a practice I didn't really keep up with. That that powerfully, but it's still something I keep to a certain level in my day to day life. They recommend you meditate for 2 hours a day. After that, I I could not do that.
A lot.
A lot of time. I'm trying to get back into it though. I mean, I am getting back into it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've always wanted to do one of those. It's almost like a mental version of a marathon, at least how I perceive it, and that
Yes.
you would probably get to day, 3, 4, 7, however many, and you're like, "What have I got myself into?" Very similar to a marathon. And I don't just curious if there's any, like, specific thresholds, whether it was, like, day 2 or hour 5 where you're like, "Wow, this is really pushing me," and I don't know, any interesting stories with that?
Yeah. Day 2 and 3 are pretty tough, especially when it comes to like knee cramps and foot cramps. The fact that
Mm,
you're in one position meditating for up to 2 hours at a time can be quite difficult. But while you are meditating, there are some words of advice which they do give you, and that's to accept the feelings as they come, the feelings of discomfort, not try and focus on them too much to make them go away, or try and be averse to it. It's called equanimity, to maintain a balanced approach to it and just allow it to come up and fade away as it would, or stay there if it's that much of a niggling sensation. But yeah, there was definitely moments when I thought, what have I got myself into? And then there comes the point where you think, I've gone too far now. I can't go back. And then you see it for the course. Yeah.
yeah. Wow, that's powerful. Just the concept of rather than trying to eliminate, I was having this conversation with a friend. You never eliminate the beast and you never really tame the beast. You just learn to tame yourself almost in a way of, you know, there's that uncomfort, that discomfort. You can try and push it away, but it's like rather than fighting it, accept it and then let it almost in a way dissipate.
Yeah.
Faster.
And this discomfort will be a natural part of life which will come up wherever you are and whoever you are as a person. It's a constant. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely, definitely. All right. That's cool. I've yeah, like I said, I've always wanted to do one of those,
Oh,
and the anxiety piece resonates a lot with me. I played college baseball, and performance anxiety was a big thing that I struggled with, and it was meditation that helped me a lot, and just being able
okay.
to deal with the anxiety and recognize, maybe the difference between excitement and fear, and different thought patterns, and almost like mantras that you can have when you move into those. I
Mm,
imagine, speaking
mm.
on stage, being in front of camera,
Oh,
performing, sports. There's so many situations where you can be anxious, and just being able to handle that. I've found meditation super interesting. I'm glad that you brought that up, because I think that
yeah.
that's one of the most powerful things as a boxer, as a Star Wars fan,
Yeah.
as a human, you can get into and really learn about.
And how did it help you with your baseball? Because I'm interested in learning more about the kind of performance based meditation and seeing how that can improve my performance as well.
Yeah. Well, so you have the two parts of the sympathetic, or the, sorry, not sympathetic, but just the autonomic nervous system. So parasympathetic, sympathetic. And I remember I was doing an interview with a yogi, just kind of from New York area, and he was talking about
Cool.
the vagus nerve,
Okay.
and the fact that a longer exhale is almost like the brake to the vagus nerve. A longer inhale is stimulation. And so if you find yourself
Right.
in
Right.
those situations, 4 seconds in, 6 seconds out, and giving yourself almost
Mm.
like a round numerical way to get to a minute or 90 seconds. So it could be 4 in, 6 out,
Yeah.
5 in, 7 out, 3 second hold. And
Mm.
that right there is literally the act of down regulating your heart rate, down regulating your nervous system. And then I think the other thing too is it's really easy to get thoughts on loop, right? Of
Mm.
nervousness, of self-doubt. And so just having a mantra, 3 to 5 words that you're saying to
Oh,
yourself that you play almost like a CD, to
I
where
love
it
I love
it,
that. I love
it
how
like
you said that.
locks you into that.
Yeah, I've got a mantra which I've been using in sparring. Got an interview. Sorry, my mum walked in there, but it's all good. I've got a mantra which I use in sparring, and it's lower the stakes. So
Mm,
a lot of times I have a lot of adrenaline going through me, and if I'm fearful, it can cause me to make a lot of mistakes, not see punches which are coming at me, overreact, and be reactive to my opponent rather than proactive and putting forward my own game plan in.
hmm
And yeah, if I'm fearful, I'm much more likely to be hit. My punches are much less likely to land. And the more composed I am, the more I can see shots coming at me. I'm much more evasive, and I can get into my own rhythm when I'm the person who's, yeah, scoring more against my opponent and dominating them in that fashion. And being calm also helps with my stamina. There's less of an adrenaline dump, and
hmm
adrenaline, while it can be good for really powerful short bursts of energy, over time, like for example, in a 2 to 3 minute boxing match, that can cause you to use up your energy reserves so quick. And once your stamina is depleted to that extent, you're pretty much a sitting duck in boxing, especially if the other person's got more stamina than you. So that's what I'm going to be doing in my fight coming up on March 25th. I'm going to be repeating that mantra, and like it has done with me in sparring, I think it will be beneficial. Yeah,
Yeah. Do you
lower the
use
stake.
anything between rounds like that? Or are you more just trying to listen to your coach and get some water and
Yeah, I probably will be listening to my coach in that regard for more tactics.
Mhm,
Lowering the stakes for me. That mantra is just to keep me calm and composed in the moment.
mhm.
Uh,
Yeah.
yeah,
Cool. That's like I said, I've never done combat sports. I did jujitsu for like a month, and some black belt busted my rib. So I was out for a couple of weeks and haven't got back to it. But I've always done, baseball, basketball, football, and again, anytime I'm in those situations, it's a mantra, and it really it kind of gets you in the zone. And your breath is a powerful tool to do that. And so, man, that's sick. Outside of boxing, what are you doing day to day? I think I saw on your page you're an advertising major. Is that something that you're doing
yeah.
when you're not in the ring?
Yeah, so I create video ads for local small businesses on the side to help, get themselves on social media, and it's something I've been studying for the last 2 years. And yeah, I've got a few clients under my belt. I'm helping them out, and I'm also a content creator, helping other people to create better videos and create better content themselves. So that's quite meta. I think there's a term for it. They call it core.
There's a what?
Core. There's a term for it. Core. I learned about it a couple of weeks ago. I never realized there was a specific terminology for it, but apparently that's what it is.
terminology when you say core, is that the practice specific, or what do you mean?
It's the genre of content I make.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, that's the terminology.
Yeah, because when I was at ad agencies, it was like you're either doing branding content, direct marketing, and then there's the different levels of the funnel. So I wonder if it's a across the pond terminology difference, or we're probably speaking the same thing.
Maybe it's
A
a
little
very
different.
new bit of terminology. I think it's not been there for a long time. I only found out a couple of weeks ago. But yeah, that's what I do. I make videos, and that keeps me makes me have a good living.
Yeah, absolutely. What specifically of that creative process do you enjoy?
I like the conception stage, thinking about what's possible and how I can storyboard ideas and getting a clear sequence of images in my mind onto the paper, and then using that to then bring that into reality from when I plan and film it later. That's amazing for me. I love doing that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
What are you
that's
using to film? Not to get like too specific, but are you doing like bigger shoots with multiple people, or are you doing like, I
rare.
guess, what's kind of the canvas
My
there?
my setup's pretty basic. I've got a Panasonic GH5S and a 3-point lighting setup. Most of the time, I film myself, but if
Cool.
I'm making a video for a small business, I do like a small interview and get some B-roll and some good shots there.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Very familiar with that. So
Nothing,
that's
nothing, nothing big scale at all. Not
yeah.
yet. Not yet.
I'm picturing you're on like a swinging jig and all the
Boom,
all
boom,
the all the explosions and everything, and it's for like a chiropractor, and you're like, this is a lot.
yeah. Lightsabers in the background.
Exactly. Brought to you by Ross
I've had a
Beadman.
couple saber companies reach out to me, uh, interested in me creating an ad for them. I really want to do it when I use the force effect. When I get one of their
Oh
lightsabers,
yeah.
something like that.
Yeah.
It'd be pretty cool. A little effect like that.
Absolutely. That I've seen a bunch of people do that where it's like reverse, right? They put the video in reverse and like the dumbbell comes back to their hand. I don't know
Yeah,
if you've seen those. Those are cool. But yeah, just to I don't know, wrap this up and make sure that I'm respecting your time. What's outside of the link, which again I'll put in the description, is there any other ways people can support you? Is there a way to like watch this fight? Is it
yeah. So it's going to be posted to all of my social media platforms. So if you've got Instagram, my Instagram is Beadman Ross. So it's basically my last name and my first name combined. So that'll be posted to my social platforms, win or lose. And if you want to get an autograph for me, part of the proceeds will be going to the charity as well, about 40%. So quite a big margin. And you can get an autograph for me on my website, www.sawsautos.com. And that's my first name from the character name, and then autos, short for autograph.com. And that's what you can do. You can sponsor me through the Just Giving link, or if you're interested in an autograph, get one through me there. Both will help the cause.
yeah, absolutely. Like I said, got the link here. We'll pop this back up so that everyone can see it.
Yeah, and for the people who've
Just
donated already, just in case you're watching this or will watch this, thank you. I mean, I woke up one day with only, well, I say only, it was about 500 quid raised, which I was really happy with. And I woke up once I posted on Reddit to 1.8 thousand.
wow.
And that was such a surge of excitement. It was amazing. Yeah, the power of
Yeah.
the internet, man.
What I mean, you might not have the answer to this because you're probably just focusing on the fight, but what would be next beyond this? Is there any
Um,
continued series of boxing? Is there
yeah, I'd like to compete in amateur boxing. Uh,
yeah,
yeah, locally definitely, and well, I
cool.
want to see how far I'll get with that. Amateur's another level. This charity boxing is technically what we call in the UK white collar,
Mhm.
which is I guess it's more unregulated. It doesn't have a boxing control commission like amateur does or the professional does. There's no official record which you can check. But yeah, I wanna go to the amateurs and raise the levels a little bit, and I also want to do one of these events as well, but in MMA, and I think
Mhm.
that'll be an interesting crossover. Obviously, boxing will be beneficial to MMA, but there's so many other different techniques in there as well. There's grappling too. I've got a little bit of a judo background, and I'll try and improve my grappling on the lead up to that fight. Um, but it's
Epic.
good. It's exciting. People want to see. People want to see people fight. It's a very primal. It's a very primal thing. I don't
Yeah.
think it'll ever go away. No matter how many people dislike it, it's here to stay.
Yeah. You can't. I was having this thought as I was on a run this weekend. You can't eliminate or invent like human psychology and desires. You can only channel it into something. Does that make sense? Where
That
it's like
makes a lot of sense.
if you
Yeah,
if you love boxing, you can't just like eliminate that.
yeah,
It's like you got to just channel that into something as opposed to like being in the streets beating kids up. Um, and so I think you're totally right in that there will always be an audience for it, and it's just making sure that it's done in a way that protects the athletes and keeps the integrity of the game, and also keeps the people. I think the big one that is interesting is the people coming up. I know a few fighters who they're local and they're doing maybe amateur level in the States, and there's no money there, and it really is something you have to give your
unfortunately.
whole life to maybe make it to a card in maybe
Yeah.
the UFC or something. And like it's just it's a
It's
long
it's
road.
it's a grind as well. It's a lot of risk for not much reward, unfortunately, for a lot of people. And that's why I wouldn't label myself or call myself a boxer.
Hmm.
I've only dedicated part of my life to improving in this sport, and some people have dedicated their entire lives to it and haven't even received the attention which I've got from a relatively small charity match, which is crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't call myself that. It's only something I practice and I can get better at. But
Yeah,
respect to those who have dedicated their lives to it.
totally. And again, I love the word practice because it's never something you arrive at, and like a Jedi, you have that daily practice that you keep coming back to. So super cool, man. Any last thoughts or anything that you want to share on your end?
Yeah, I'd recommend other people if they've got an opportunity to compete in a charity event like this. In the UK, it's called Ultra White Collar Boxing. They're always occurring throughout the whole of the year. It'll get you very physically fit. There's 8 weeks of free training, and all you have to do is raise £50 minimum for the charity, which is Cancer Research UK, and sell 10 tickets, and that can be from your friends and your family. And it will really challenge you. It will challenge you mentally, it will challenge you physically, and in many other different ways. I'd recommend anyone take it up.
Yeah, absolutely. Awesome, man. Well, thank you so much for the time. And if you wouldn't mind, could we get one last Master Skywalker?
Absolutely. Do you want it in my kid's voice or my adult voice?
Let's do both while we got you.
Kid's voice first. Master Skywalker, there are too many of them. What are we going to do? They'll do my adult voice. Master Skywalker, there are too many of them. What are we going to do?
Oh man, lightsaber ignites and it's night night. It's night for sores.
For my
Oh
opponent,
man.
hopefully, though.
Yeah. Well, now that you got this fight under your belt coming up, you might be able to show them
Hey,
what's up.
might
So
have to call out Hayden. Who knows? At his
that
age,
that would raise some money. That's what you got to be doing. Is getting in the boxing ring. That would be epic.
he can choose the charity of his choice. It's all good.
Charity of your choice. Just put on
Yeah,
some gloves and we'll go.
yeah. Plus, you might be a few weight classes there. Up. I think you'll be. He's about 6 foot something. You have an advantage there. So,
Yeah.
hey,
Cool. Well, dude, thank you so much for the time, Ross. Great chatting with you, and really awesome getting to know you both in the boxing ring, in the Jedi Temple, I guess we would call it, and outside in real life. Just a class dude. So appreciate
yeah.
it.
And the parallels between Star Wars and martial arts are very apparent. That's what I like about it.
Yeah. I think
Yeah,
a lot of inspiration gets pulled from that. And I've always told people like Yoda is literally just yoga. They just flipped the D
yeah,
and the G.
yeah. I didn't think of that. Interesting.
Yeah. Well, only one way to know. I'll ask George when I interview him.
That's cool,
Awesome.
man.
Well, thank you so much, brother. And everyone watching, thank you so much for watching and supporting. Again, in the description, you can check out the link for Just Giving and Ross's charity boxing match. And may the force be with you all. Welcome. I guess I'll catch you on the Trooper transmission and catch you on the next video, y'all.